Hey guys, it's Sheena here, and today I'm going to be guiding you through a hip opening yoga sequence. This is a great flow to do at the end of the day, if you've been sitting all day for work, or if you drive. You can even do it in the morning. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on the back today. So from a seated position, go ahead and gently lower yourself down onto the back. And when you get there, go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Just giving a little tug here, releasing the low back. From here, we're gonna gently extend that left leg out long, keeping the left toes flexed up to the face. You can bring that left hand to the hip bone here to encourage that left thigh to really stay on the ground. Take a big inhale. We're gonna tug that right knee in a little tighter. And our exhale is gonna bring the right knee over to the right side. So think about making a big 90-degree angle with that right leg. Let's take 2 deep breaths here as you relax the outer thigh down onto the ground. Make sure you can hear the sound of your own breath. We're gonna take a big inhale, gently guiding that right knee back into center. And this time we're gonna bring the right knee over to the left side of the mat. So you can kind of scoot your hips over to the right here as you guide the right knee up and over. If it feels good in the right arm, you can cactus that elbow and begin to look over the right shoulder. Breathe. Good, take a big inhale, we'll come through center one more time. Then our exhale is gonna switch sides. That left knee comes into the chest, right leg extends out nice and long. Same thing, wanna make sure those toes stay flexed towards the face. Inhale to tug that left shin in a little tighter. Exhale to gently bring it out to the left side. So it's okay if that left outer thigh doesn't touch the ground. We just want to exhale it down towards the ground here. Don't forget about those right toes. Breathe. And if you guys noticed, take one more breath here. Actually, my right outer thigh is able to reach the ground and my left isn't. So usually we're tighter on one side and that's okay. Go ahead and bring that left hand back to the left outer thigh. Inhale to bring the left knee into center one more time. And we'll exhale it over to the right side. Same thing, you can scoot those hips a little over to the left side. You're gonna feel this stretch a little more. And let's inhale to come back through center here. This time we'll bring both knees into the chest. And we'll rock and roll nice and gently up to a seated position. And from our seated position, let's make our way to a tabletop, all fours. So stacking the hands right below the shoulders here. Now make sure when you get here, you flip to the tops of the feet and the neck stays nice and long. So we don't want to bring the chin to the chest. When the neck stays nice and long, we're going to bring some space between the palms of the hands and the mat below us and firmly grip the mat. Let's go ahead and keep the neck nice and long here. And then begin to create some space between the palms and the mat. So gently just lift out of the shoulder blades here. Let's go ahead and inhale to extend that right leg long. And then we'll squeeze the glute to lift the leg. Now, option to stay here. If you'd like to begin to balance yourself a little bit, we can bring that left arm out in front of us. On our next inhale, we're gonna bring the left arm out to the left side and the right leg out to the right. Exhale to bring them back to center. Good, we're gonna do that twice more. Inhale, making a big diagonal shape. Exhale back, squeeze your core here. Last inhale, exhale back through center. Let's make our way back to a tabletop position and just take one round of cat-cow here to reset the spine. On an inhale, drop the belly, gaze up this time. Exhale to curl chin to chest, maybe coming up onto the fingertips. inhale back to a neutral spine here, reset, and we'll go to the other side. So we're really beginning to engage the hip flexors here. Inhale to extend that left leg long, squeeze the glute to slowly lift it up. Option to inhale to extend that right arm out as well. And we'll exhale to come to that big diagonal shape. So keep your left toes flexed here. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale out. Last inhale. Exhale out. Inhale to gently return back to your tabletop. And we'll take one more round of cat-cow here. Inhale to drop the belly. Exhale to curl and round. Let's inhale back to a flat back here, guys. And from here, we'll make our way to a child's pose. So bring the knees to touch or a little bit wider. And go ahead and sink your hips to your heels as you extend your arms out long in front of you, breathe. So we're making this a passive child's pose. You can just relax that upper body. If you feel like you still want more here in the hips, go ahead and tent up onto your fingertips. One more big breath here. On our next inhale, we'll gently roll back to that tabletop, all fours. And we're gonna exhale to tuck the toes and make our way to downward facing dog. Just taking one breath in down dog to arrive here, keeping the knees generously bent. On your next inhale, firm up that left leg, reach that right leg nice and high. And we're gonna exhale to a lizard lunge. So bringing the right foot outside the right hand, and you can move it there with your hand if you need to. Now this is a really active pose, but if you're feeling really tight in your hips today, just go ahead and gently lower that left knee down. So this is my favorite variation of the pose. From here, we're taking 3 breaths, and we're gonna come to the very blade edge of the right foot. I like to make little hip circles here in one direction. You're gonna feel this big release in the right hip, and then switch directions. Now, as you exhale into this pose, maybe you come down onto the forearms. It's very important that we want to stay focused on the hips here, so keep looking forward. The gaze stays forward, not down. One final breath. If you're on the blade edge of the foot, we're going to gently come back up onto the fingertips and the sole of the foot. If your left leg is lifted, go ahead and lower it down here. We're gonna transition to a half pigeon. So begin to heel toe that right foot into the left side of the mat. Now the aim of half pigeon is to get this right shin parallel to the top of the mat, but it's okay if yours looks more a little like this. Once you get here, lengthen that left leg out long in front behind you. Inhale to find length in the spine. Exhale to gently begin folding over that right leg with a flat back. We're gonna take 3 full breaths here. Option to completely release the upper body here. So if you can, maybe you rest your forehead on your hands. You should feel this stretch in the outer hip, a little bit of the groin as well, and the thigh. Last breath here. Let's take a big inhale to gently come back up onto the hands. We're gonna keep the legs as they are. All I'm gonna do is roll onto my buttocks. So we're gonna extend that left leg out long in front of us, and that right foot is going to stay touching the left inner thigh here. Go ahead and bring your right palm down by your right hip. Take a big inhale, and we're gonna lift the hips high for stargazer. Breathe, breathe, breathe here. We're only here for 1 breath. Maybe inhaling to bump those hips up just a little more, finding length. On your next exhale, release everything back down to the ground. Good, you can bring the legs out in front of you, give them a little shake, and we're just gonna step it back to our downward dog. Again, just taking one breath here, maybe noticing what's different, maybe pedaling out the legs. And we'll go to the other side. Firm up that right leg. Inhale that left leg long, long, long as you can. Exhale to shift forward. Think plank position in the upper body, and then stepping that left foot outside the left hand. I'm gonna take the same variation I took on the other side, so I'm gently gonna lower that right knee down and flip to the top of the foot. After a breath or so here, you can begin to bring that left knee down towards the ground. So remember, we're stretching out this left hip flexor. It may feel good for you to just apply some light pressure on the left knee, opening it up towards the ground. Same thing here, you can make some circles in one direction, and then the other. Last breath here, keeping that gaze pointing forward. And then come back to the sole of the foot, lowering the right leg down. If it's lifted, we're gonna heel toe to that half pigeon. Look back behind you, make sure that right leg is completely straight and flipped to the top of the foot. Inhale to sit up tall here. Exhale to gently fold. So you can stay on your hands. This in itself is a pretty intense stretch, half pigeon, which is why I like to do lizard lunge right before. And maybe you come down onto the forearms, or maybe you release all the way down. Taking one more big breath here. Gently coming back onto the hands here. Inhale to lift the chest. And same thing, we're gonna stay on that left pubic bone here and just extend that right leg out long. So keep those right toes nice and flexed, and then bringing the left palm of the hand down to the left hip. Sit up nice and tall. We'll take a big inhale, lift the whole low body up to the sky. You can keep that head in line with the spine or just let it hang heavy. Inhale to bump the hips up a little higher, and exhale to release everything down. Good, y'all. One more little shake here, and we'll step it back to our trusty old down dog. Let's take just one breath here. On your next inhale, bend into your knees and walk or hop to a forward fold. Staying for the exhale over the legs. Let's bend into the knees a lot and slowly inhale as we roll up to stand, one vertebra at a time. And once we get there, finding our tall mountain pose, rolling the shoulders. From here, we're gonna come to a tree pose. So go ahead and firm up that left leg, putting all the weight in the left outer heel and bringing the hands to heart center. Lift the chest into the thumb, stand up nice and tall, and gently begin to bring that right foot up to the left shin. Now maybe from here, you bring it all the way up to the left inner thigh. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now same thing, we want to think about opening up that hip, so maybe you bring the right hand to the inner right thigh to really encourage that hip to open. Good, guys. One more inhale. And we're gonna exhale to transition to a warrior two. So stepping that right foot out, making sure the weight is even between both soles of the feet here. Breathe. Opening up that right hip. One more breath. And from here, we'll go to our downward dog. If you'd like, you can take a vinyasa here, or just step it back. Taking one full breath. Maybe exhaling to open the mouth side out. Let's inhale to look past the hands, walking back to our standing forward fold. Once more, staying for the exhale. Inhale to gently roll up, keeping the weight in the legs here, coming back to our tall mountain, finding our alignment, rolling the shoulders back. And we're going to take that sequence on the other side. So coming back to our tree pose, but this time on the left side. Go ahead and firm up that right leg, bringing hands to heart center. Take a big inhale, bringing that left foot up the right shin. Option to stay in this modified tree here. Or maybe you slide it all the way up, just anywhere but the knee joint. Again, maybe bringing that left hand to the left knee. And staying tall in the spine here is really going to encourage length, and you're going to feel this in that left hip flexor. Last inhale. And exhale to gently step it open, warrior two. Now in your warrior two, think about pushing that left knee against an imaginary wall to the left side, so it's not caving in. We really want to encourage an open space in that left hip flexor. Breathe. One more big breath. And again, slowly making our way back to downward dog. Option to take a vinyasa here, or just step it back. One breath in down dog, this time focusing on driving the heels down towards the ground, as you should be feeling pretty warm in the low body by now. From down dog, let's go ahead and lower down to all fours. And we're gonna take child's pose. So this time, try and bring the knees about mat distance apart. If that's too much, maybe you bring them hip distance. And from here, we're gonna extend the arms out long. We're just gonna take 3 grounding breaths. So envision that there's a string pulling your fingertips forward. And there's also a string pulling your hips down to the ground. One final breath. And then gently bring the knees to touch. We're going to slowly roll up to a seat and take one final posture before we go back onto the back here, butterfly legs. So bringing the soles of the feet to touch. Go ahead and make sure that you can still keep some length in the spine. We're gonna inhale to sit up nice and tall, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale to begin folding with a flat back. So as you fold here, using your exhales, think about really letting those knees release down to the ground. If your hands reach, you can begin to bring the palms of the hands out in front of you. You're going to really feel this in your hip flexors. Let's take one more big breath here. Coming back up onto the fingertips, nice and slow. Coming back to a tall seat. From here, bring the hands to the knees. And we're gonna come back to that seat that we started off our practice with. From here, we'll gently lower down onto the back. From here, we'll gently lower down onto the back. We're making our way to our final posture here, Savasana. Now, since this is a hip flow, you can go ahead and take butterfly legs. So coming back to that position in the low body, and from here, maybe bringing one hand to the heart and one hand to the low belly. We'll just be here for about a minute or so. See if you can really focus on letting all the tension release in the body. Coming back to a natural breath. Not controlling, but just observing. From here, if your legs are in butterfly, let's go ahead and gently extend them long. And I encourage you to take Shavasana for as long as you have time for today. But if you're flowing with me, let's go ahead and take a big inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, coming to a good morning stretch. Point your toes here, activating the whole body. And then gently bringing both knees back into the chest. From here, we'll come to a comfortable seated position. To close out our practice, go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. And we'll take just a big cleansing breath here. So inhaling in through the nose. Open the mouth to exhale, side out. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through this practice. I hope you're feeling warm in your low body and ready for your hike, your drive, your 9 to 5, or whatever it is that your day takes you. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thanks guys for flowing with me, and make sure that you check out our app, Yoga Plus by Psychetruth, where you can get a free 14-day trial and check out more videos from me as well as other instructors. We'll see you on your mat.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psychetruth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.